I'm back. What do you hear? What do you say?
Welcome back, my friend.
Did I miss us?
A couple things. No big
Okay.
deal. Yeah, no, you're right.
Feels good to be back.
Welcome back. We're happy to
Welcome
have you
back.
back.
Thank you.
Back from across the pond.
Thank you. And welcome to the Cover Cal High podcast. I'm your host, Jake Vanderbrook, alongside Tyler Flipson, Adrian Soriano. Week 7 in the books. We got chaos.
Nothing but chaos. We love it. We welcome the chaos. Controlled chaos.
So, updated scores for you, starting with the WCAL, that Serra St. Francis showdown in Mountain View. And it was St. Francis beating those Serra Padres 27-21. Marin Catholic starting league play, beating San Marin, big rivalry over there, 21-7, while Clayton Valley was able to take down Las Lomas and Walnut Creek 29-22.
We got Santa Teresa and Branham. Santa Teresa managed to top Branham 34-28. And we head on over where we have Wilcox and Menlo, where Wilcox gets it done 28-14. And then, as we covered it, Carlmont and San Mateo. And San Mateo, a shocker, in my opinion, takes down Carlmont 35-14.
And we go to San Jose for another West Catholic League game. I was at this game. Valley Christian 31-13 over Riordan. Ocalanas beat Miramonte 35-28. That was a very, very good game, by the way, which we didn't cover. San Ramon Valley over Cal 38-26.
Yeah, Amador Valley is starting to find its stride. They were able to beat Campolindo 37-7. Piedmont rolling past Hayward, winning 35-14, while Marin Catholic was able to beat Castro Valley in an offensive shootout. 49-40 was the final.
And then we go to an Oakland showdown. Oakland versus Oakland Tech, where Tech gets it done by all of one score, 21-14. And we head on over to Willow Glen and Sobrato, where Willow Glen gets it done 20-3. And then lastly, from me, you have Pioneer and Silver Creek, where Pioneer takes down Silver Creek 16-7. We got our Pioneer Mustang producer, Nikon, behind the camera.
Mustang Country, let's ride!
Yeah. Almost distracted me there. I didn't know what was going on back there. I realized we were just going for those stangs. But go ahead.
And speaking of Nikon, he was at this game. Los Gatos and Menlo Atherton. Those Wildcats came out on top 21-14.
Yeah.
Bishop O'Dowd over Berkeley 34-13. Shout out to my boys over there in Bishop O'Dowd. And Cardinal Newman over Windsor in overtime 24-23.
It's a shame they're as far as they are. I wish we could cover those teams more.
We can.
And quality games like, you driving? I'm not driving.
Oh, well, you're the one who asked.
I know. But
Yeah,
no.
and that game it came down to an extra point, and Carl Newman was able to capitalize, and that was a huge win for those Cardinal Newman Cardinals, beating Windsor 24-23. And like I said before, don't sleep on the North.
Don't sleep on
Don't
the
sleep
North.
on the North.
Is that related to the NFC North as well? Is that tie in?
No, that has nothing to do with that.
Got it.
But speaking of the NFC North, those De La Salle Spartans, they were able to experience an NFL game in London, seeing those Minnesota Vikings take on the New York Jets.
Skull, baby.
Yeah, Skull. You saw them doing the Skull chant. And
That's pretty cool.
that was a great trip for them. I mean, this was a business trip for them. And it was fun catching the fun moments, the team bonding with their team dinners, and they were showing kids how to play flag football, and it was a great experience for those Spartans. And they were able to roll past NFL Academy, winning 31-9, where it was raining, the conditions were rough, and but when you have an offense that is well known for, that you don't have to handle much of those weather conditions where you can just run the ball down your throat, you're in good hands. So that's a great win for De La Salle. And now they get ready for league play against San Ramon Valley.
You mentioned about how they can run the ball down your throat and talk about the weather. But, I mean, there's one play in the highlights that you showed in that package with traveling with them, and Toa heaved that thing deep, an absolute dime in wet conditions still.
Oh, yeah. No, he looked great. Toa did his job, and like I said, if he needs to make a play with his arm, he's going to do it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, he's going to take a shot down the field and find his boy Jaden Nicholas. And, De La Salle, they're in sync. They're in sync. But now they get ready for league play.
That's good stuff.
Did you guys have fun, you and Nikon?
Yeah, we had a great time.
How was the food?
Food was all right. So one thing that I discovered that I did not know is that for breakfast, a lot of people prefer baked beans.
Really?
Baked beans, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, no. So I was at our hotel. I was at the breakfast buffet. I'm grabbing my eggs. I grabbed some fruit, and I noticed that there were baked beans. And I see this 8-year-old child coming down. He grabs this big plate, and this man is scooping and scooping and scooping baked beans. I'm like, man, I don't want to sit in a car with you, young man. I'm like, my goodness.
And wait, was he pairing it with eggs? It's eggs and like baked beans?
No, he stacked, yeah.
Just baked beans
He
for breakfast.
stacked his plate with baked beans. I'm like, kid, what are you doing?
That's-
It's okay to grab some eggs, young man. Come on.
That's absurd, though. I've never heard of baked beans for breakfast. That's crazy.
So they didn't have bacon?
They had Canadian bacon,
Okay.
Okay.
but not the bacon that we eat.
Okay.
But
Sadly.
But overall, it was a fun trip. It was a fun trip. A lot of work, putting together their feature, but well worth it at the end of the day. And those kids had a great time.
It turned out great. I was ecstatic to see it, and that was a very cool experience for both you and Nikon, I'm sure, and the team alike. And De La Salle stays perfect.
There you go.
Regardless, you said it wasn't going to affect your polls, which we'll get to
Well, no.
later,
Yep.
but they stay perfect. They have yet to see a loss this season. And like I said, on the league play with more big games played this week.
Yep, 6-0 on the season. And let's talk about the North. Don't
The
sleep
North.
on the North. I've already said it, and I'm going to say it again. Marin Catholic, San Marin, big rivalry showdown. Aubrey Tolliver was at our game Thursday night, and Marin Catholic was able to steal one on the road. Big win for those Wildcats.
That's some quality football. It was great seeing those highlights, watching them back. I was lucky enough to get a Friday off. I didn't see any of the Friday action last week, but I caught up on all the highlights. And, there's some great football, and especially that one. That was a great one to watch back. The North, like Jake is saying, is something else.
You know what? Marin Catholic defensively, man, they look good. They held Wesley Timmel to 2 catches.
Yeah.
2 catches. They ran the ball well.
Yep.
And, hey, you know what? This is what I say. If you schedule tough opponents, man, it's going to help you in league, and it's really helping Marin Catholic now.
Marin Catholic getting revenge, right? Because San Marin beat them at Marin
Oh,
Catholic.
that's right.
last
Weren't you
year.
there last year?
Yes,
So,
I was there last year.
Last
And let me
year's-
tell you, that's a fun rivalry showdown. When those two teams go at it, man, you're in for a treat. And Geisberger had a great game on the ground.
Yep.
He had 3 total touchdowns for the Wildcats. And like you said, when you schedule those tough teams in the beginning, and Marin Catholic did that. They faced Intercom. They faced St. Mary's of Stockton. Yes, they did start the season 0-2, but I feel like this has prepared them for league play.
Yep.
This is huge because now they're starting to put it together, and they're rolling. They're 4-2 on the season thus far, and they're
Absolutely.
playing some great football.
I think that's a big advantage in the big picture of scheduling tough early in your season. You look at the Pittsburghs, the Los Gatos, and teams alike, where they schedule tough, and you wonder why, but it gets you prepared for league. Now, it could be make or break. It could hurt your ego and bring you into league like, man, that's tough go, right? Or builds confidence knowing what you have.
Yep.
And their league is not easy.
Nope, their league is not easy. And shout out Sam Connolly. He had a great game for defense for those Wildcats. Yale commit being a force, dominating the line of scrimmage. So like I said, great win for Marin Catholic. And here we go, because this is going to be one heck of a league.
My favorite time of the year. We're here. League play, baby.
Well, we only have 4 games left.
Yeah.
If you count this week, 4 regular season games left, and then playoff time.
That's crazy. Where's the time go? It's going
I
in a
know.
blink.
Hey, you know what they say, time goes by when you're having fun, right?
Having a
Absolutely.
blast.
Having a blast. And we're shifting our way to the WCAL.
Yep.
Adrian, you were at this game.
Yep.
Riordan, Valley Christian. This game was close at halftime, but then Valley Christian pulled away in the second half.
You know, Valley Christian's defense, man, they look spectacular. And I think I said this last week. Eric Scherenberg, man, he does a lot of good things with that defense. And again, same thing with Marin Catholic. Valley Christian schedule tough, right? Kind of off to a rough start. And then once they faced Midian, they just guns a-blazing. But Riordan, all that talent, no disrespect to those Crusaders, all that talent offensively cannot do anything defensively. The first play from scrimmage in the second half, when Valley Christian got the ball, was a 75-yard touchdown. Nobody tackled. and you wonder why Riordan is struggling. Well, offensively, they look good in the first half. The same thing happened again. They look good. Well, they didn't look as good as the St. Ignatius game in the first half 2 weeks ago. But they looked decent, and then second half, something happened. They couldn't score. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't move the ball offensively. Defensively, they struggled. They couldn't tackle. So it's safe to say Riordan is probably out of the league title race. Now, we've seen crazy things happen before.
We have. We have.
Crazy things
Not
happen
over
before.
till it's over.
Not over until it's over.
I think they're out. They just cannot tackle anyone.
That's what it comes down to. If you're single-sided, it makes things a lot more challenging, and that's stating the obvious there, right? But if you are excelling on offense, but then you don't have a defense that could stop, your opponent from scoring, you put a lot more weight on your offense to continue that scoring, And if they run out of gas, you get into some serious trouble quick.
Here's the thing with Riordan. Let's be honest. They're hit and miss. Offensively, they're hit and miss. You can put up 60+ points against Sacred Heart Cathedral, and you begin league play with a dominant victory. That's fantastic. And then you're rolling over St. Ignatius in the first half. And then you can't put it together the second week or in the second half. And then you go into Valley Christian thinking that, hey, we need to make a statement because that performance against SI was unacceptable. This is what I'm thinking as a coach, right? And they were flat.
Yeah. Riordan's definitely in a bit of a, identity crisis, figuring out where they're going and what's next, But while we're hounding on Riordan, we also got to give Valley their
Yes,
accolades.
we do.
Absolutely.
You're
Accolades.
absolutely right. Absolutely right.
They're playing at a high level, winning games in a way that, is unlike any other with a freshman at the quarterback position too, right? Didn't you say he's a freshman?
He started against Midi because they were looking for a spark. And, hey, they're kind of letting him throw the ball a little bit more now. When I covered them against Midi, he threw the ball like 5 times. So he threw the ball just a little bit more against Riordan. But, hey, you know what? What did I say a couple weeks ago? What does Valley Christian like to do again?
Run the ball.
Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And that's exactly what they did. They ran the ball. Right? They controlled the clock. They made plays on defense. Michael Mitchell Jr. got picked 3 times. Now, the first pick, I kind of really don't count it because it was a Hail Mary thing, right?
Yep.
But there's other 2 picks.
Yeah.
No good.
Yeah,
Yep.
Marcel Leggett, great game for him on the ground, 109 rushing yards with a touchdown. Valley Christian looking good. And now we shift our focus. We're staying in the WCAL, but we're making our way over to Mountain View with St. Francis beating Serra 27-21. Kingston Keananaya did his thing. 322 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. But the offensive line, they really set the tone.
Yeah, I mean, paving the way for Kingston like that is unlike any other. Kingston's without a doubt making an early statement for play of the year. I mean, the game after game after game, what he's doing on the ground is insane. I mean,
absolutely,
that offense runs through him, and no one's able to stop him. I don't know if I've seen any defense really shut him down yet, to an extent, what he's done. So, I mean, and not to mention St. Francis as a team beating Serra for the first time in 3 years, too.
Yep.
That's a huge, huge deal.
So, what do you think about that Serra team overall, Jake? You were there.
I think they're improving.
Okay.
I think they are improving. Andrew Hennigan, I think he played a better game compared to what I saw him against De La Salle. He's making some throws. He had a big touchdown pass in the second quarter, and he's smart with the football. He's doing a good job protecting the football, and it's always good to see a quarterback who is developing and improving as the season goes on. But here's my situation, though. It was the fourth quarter. The Padres were in the red zone, down 6, looking to take the lead. And Serra likes to run a little wildcat.
Yeah.
With Nano Latu taking the snap, right?
Yep.
So Hennigan was not even in the play. He wasn't. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I'm St. Francis and they've already, and Latu scored earlier in the first half off the wildcat, I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's going to go to Latu. They ran 3 plays and they were at the goal line, like ball spotted at the 8-yard line.
Okay.
They ran 3 consecutive plays with Latu running up the middle. They went for it on 4th down. Latu had the carry. So I'm thinking for St. Francis, okay, if Hennigan's out, Latu's in, okay, it's going to go to Latu up the middle, right?
Sure.
And I was looking for some more play calling. Like, how about take a shot to the end zone? I mean, Hennigan, he had a great touchdown pass in the first half. Trust the kid's arm, I'm thinking to myself.
Yeah.
Or even then, you could set up for that, right? If you're on first down, second down, and if you're going into that drive knowing it's 4-down territory, set up those first 3, dive, and have Hennigan or one of your wide receivers let Latu throw it. They're going to think it's a dive, the predictability.
And that's the thing. I've seen Latu throw it.
Right.
I mean, he has a well-known play from last year when Serra was taking on Folsom, and it was like the first play of scrimmage where Latu pulled off that double pass.
Yeah.
And we've seen that before. And I was thinking that we would see that in this game, but we didn't. And it's like Latu can throw it if he really needs to.
And I'm willing to bet, without seeing that, close enough, I'm willing to bet St. Francis defense was double A gap, box is full.
Yep.
And I'm sure you had the opportunity to throw where you had a one-on-one matchup. So.
Yep.
So how much time was left when they did that?
So they did that. There was probably like 6 minutes left to go.
6 minutes left?
Yeah.
Why don't you go for a field goal and trust your defense?
Good question.
Take the
That's
points.
a great
Take
point.
the points.
Okay,
You're
but-
down by 6. Take the 3 points. Trust your defense that they're gonna make a stop, and all you need to do is either get another field goal late,
Yep.
or if you score a touchdown, you win the game.
But here's my question to you, though, is look what Kingston did. Did they make a stop ever throughout that game? And that's just being real.
Yeah, and yes, so after the drive stalled for Serra, St. Francis, they were able to chew clock. And at one point, the Padres defense was able to stop them, forcing turnover on downs.
Okay.
So Serra did have a shot, but I do like your thinking age, because when they went for it on 4th down, they were right around field goal range to possibly, kick the field goal if that situation happened. Like if you mentioned, if they kicked the 3 points. So I don't know. It was just the play calling in the 4th quarter that I did have some questions with when they decided to go for it on 4th down. But hey, that's why you play the game, right?
Exactly.
There's a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda from that game.
Yep.
And Sarah, now I think if you ask me, hitting that panic button. They are in full panic mode. If you ask me.
This is what it is. Let me tell you, and we just got to embrace it. Sarah is just not the same team as they were last year.
Well, I mean,
Pretty
And
definitely
it
not.
happens.
It happens. Yeah, it happens.
They're rebuilding from last year. They're absolutely rebuilding.
But
from
they
last
can
year.
still compete in that D1 bracket. They can still compete.
I think so. I think you know what? If the playoffs started like this week, they'll probably be like a 7 or 8 seed.
Yeah.
In Division 1.
And look how close that game was to SI.
I know.
This
By the way,
this
they
game
should have
was
beaten
close.
SI. They should have beaten SI.
Right.
Right, and they should have beaten St. They played an almost perfect game against St. Francis.
Almost.
It was right there in the 4th quarter. All you had to do was kick a field goal, trust your defense, and score again.
Yeah.
I don't think Sarah's going to have an identity crisis like I said Riordan is. I think Sarah's still a very good team. It's not like they're getting blown out and they're irrelevant. They're still a very good team. It's just coming to that point where we talked about this almost every week. Sarah was the team to watch for. They are the big expectation coming in the season. So when they don't perform, they don't do what you're expecting them to do at the highest level that they usually do, the criticism's even higher. And I know they know that. So what it comes down to now is Sarah just sticking to their guns and rolling with it. Hey, yeah, we lost, but you know what? Forward and onward, we got next week. But St. Francis is the team that is running hot.
Yep. And absolutely. So St. Francis, they remain unbeaten in league play. St. Ignatius remains unbeaten in league play.
Yep.
And those two teams are going at it.
Head to
There you
head.
go.
Can't wait.
At SI.
Yep.
That's a
I'll
big
be there.
game.
I will be there. And you know what? The league race is now down to 3 teams. St. Francis, Valley Christian, St. Ignatius. And all 3 of those teams are going to play each other for the next 3 weeks. So, and I think Valley Christian's playing at SI next week. And then Valley Christian's playing St. Francis at home the week after. So, here we go. Are we going to have 3 league champions? Possibly, right? But it's safe to say right now that someone other than Serra is going to win league.
I think that's a
Someone
safe bet.
other than Serra is going to win league. Right?
I'll
Again,
take that
we've seen crazy things happen before, right? All of a sudden, Serra could be in the thick of it the next 2 weeks. We don't know, but it's very unlikely there are.
If I'm picking a favorite, I want to see St. Francis. What they're doing consistently game after game in Kingston, I cannot get over that. I mean, he's unreal what he's doing, and I just that's got to be a favorite. That's got to be the favorite coming out of that league. I think I don't see any defenses being able to stop Kingston the way that he runs the football.
And that's SI's key, man. Can they contain Kingston? You know, Kingston's gonna get his. He's probably gonna get 100 rushing yards
Minimum.
on Friday.
That's
minimum.
the floor,
Right? Can they contain him, and can they make plays on offense?
Right.
Right? Because that St. Francis defense is pretty good too.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good. But here's the big question. Who can stop the run? St. Francis defense, they had a little bit of a hard time stopping Nanolatu. He rushed for over 100 yards.
Yeah.
He had a touchdown. And then when you look at SI defense, can they stop Kingston? And Kingston went off with 3 rushing touchdowns, over 300 rushing yards. So that's going to be my key. Who can stop the run? And then keep in mind, who's willing to make a play with their arm? Aaron Knapp or Soren Hummel? That's also going to be key.
You just never count out those cardiac cats. Bless you to our great producer Nico. Man. Bless you, sir. But hey, you know what? Never count out those cardiac cats, man. And where's the 3-shot or 2-shot? SI, man. Like I said last week, you guys have my attention. Let's see what happens. I'll see you guys on Friday.
Where's this game being played?
It's at SI.
It's at SI.
4:30.
Okay.
I'll see you guys there.
Don't they have lights?
They do. I think it's the neighborhood thing.
Always the neighbors. Oh, my gosh.
I think it's the neighborhood thing.
Give these kids the Friday Night Lights experience that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives.
Well, I mean, you know what, Jake? When the game is over, they have the lights on anyway, so they'll have the experience for like a half.
Yeah, like
For
in
a
the
half.
fourth quarter.
That's still
You know what I call that?
tomfoolery.
Tomfoolery.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I took it right out of there.
Tomfoolery.
Saw that one. Saw that one coming.
All right. So now
Moving on.
Settle the tomfoolery.
we're making our way over to the East Bay League.
Yep.
This is a big one. San Ramon Valley, De La Salle. It was an amazing regular season game when these two teams played each other last year.
Unreal.
It went to overtime. And it was game of the year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was game of the year.
The first game.
that was
no,
you?
that was Jake.
That was Jake
Jake
had
covered
that
the
one.
first game, and I don't know who.
Aubrey
Aubrey
covered
the second
the
right?
open division title game. Yep. And De La Salle went on to win both of those games. And now De La Salle hosts SRV. This is a big one. This is a big one for those San Ramon Valley Wolves.
I think it's, as Adrian would say, all love to the Wolves over there, but I think it's going to be a barn burner. I think that
You think it's gonna be a blowout?
I think SRV might be running into a buzzsaw, to be honest.
Wow.
And SRV is a very, very good program. Nothing against them, but I think kind of like I'm talking about Kingston, De La Salle is just running so hot. I just don't see anyone who's going to be able to stop them with the way they are playing right now. And I always look at offense. I need to pay more attention to defense. Such an offensive-minded guy. But, I mean, we've talked about it before. They are so deep in the running back position. Run, fresh legs constantly. And Fave has an arm and a half where the second you're so committed to run, play action, I could bomb it, 40 yards and take it to the house, right? So it's just I would love to be wrong. I would love to see an upset, but I just don't. I think we might be in for a barn burner.
I'm gonna go with De La Salle too. I said this earlier this season. I think I said it earlier in the season. I think Pittsburgh is probably the only team that can keep up with De La Salle just because they're just so dynamic offensively. Not saying that San Ramon Valley is not dynamic offensively. I mean, they're good. They're a good team too. It's just that, man, De La Salle defensively looks so good. Yep. This looks like the De La Salle of old. They're running the ball well. I mean, you don't know who's going to run. You don't know who's going to have the ball. And then, when you try to do something, defensively, they're just going to pass it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is a big game for Rhett Thompson. I want to see what he can do. This is huge for him. This is a golden opportunity to see what this kid is really made of. I think he's going to play well. I actually do. I just don't think it's enough to beat De La Salle, though.
That's what I'm saying.
I just don't. I mean, we talk about it. They run the dang ball all the time. You can put 4 running backs in there, and they're going to move the ball down the field. Toa's going to have to make a play with his arm. He'll do it. And then the defense. Matt Johnson, Nico Baumgartner, Jaden Jefferson, Bubba Vargas. When you have those guys that are just lined up, defensively, they're going to put on a show for you, especially Matt Johnson, who's going to Oregon next year. Man, I mean, there was this one play against the NFL Academy. It looks like that the NFL Academy were going to score, but Matt Johnson, he's literally using one arm, and he's being held, and he's using one arm to punch the ball out. Kid's good.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's just what De La Salle has, and we've said it over and over again like a broken record, but rightfully so, is De La Salle is too good. Just too good. And San Ramon Valley is a top program. They're up there. I would say locally here in the Bay Area, out of all the football programs, they are one of the best. Absolutely.
I'm going to say this. I don't think Marco Jones is going to play. He's going to play the game of his life.
Yeah,
he's going to do whatever. He's going to do whatever it takes to stop the run.
If it's anyone, it's him. Absolutely.
He needs to,
yeah.
and he needs to be involved offensively.
He does.
Yeah,
he does, and he was last year when we covered them for both games. Both games, he has to be effective on both sides of the ball. But we'll see. That's going to be a Friday 7:15 kickoff in Concord.
Well, you think it's going to be a blowout, or you think it's going to be a close game?
I think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be as close as last year in the regular season, but I still think it's going to be a close game.
So we have one close game. You think it's a blowout, Tyler?
Out of your textbook, it's a barn burner. Oh my God. Out of your vocab book.
All right. I think it's going to be close in the first half, and then De La Salle is just going to De La Salle and just pull away in the second half. Man, how can you not pick against De La Salle? I mean, how? They're just so good.
But hey, I'm always for an upset. I love me a good upset, underdog upset. Because we know if there's going to be, not that there is, but if there's favoritism, De La Salle's favored. I'd love to see San Ramon Valley and come and get it done.
Yeah.
Over to the volleyball poll.
Chaos.
Yeah, this is where we turn it over to Adrian, and then he breaks down the rankings 1, 2, 3, and he goes all the way up to 10.
And then we tell him he's wrong. No, just kidding.
So I'm gonna do it on the 2-shot this week. Here it is, guys. Here's the poll.
Come on.
So here you go. Branson's still number 1, man.
They're legit.
They beat Redwood. You were at that game.
I was there. Yeah, Branson's
3 sets.
legit. Yeah, 3 sets.
3 sets.
Yeah,
huh?
Branson's good though.
They are good.
They're very good.
They're
very good. So is Redwood, but Branson's superior.
Yep.
No doubt.
Midi number 2. They beat Riordan, and they beat St. Francis in 4 at home. I was there. St. Francis, number 3, lost to Midi. Number 4, James Logan. I know everyone's going to say, why is James Logan still them? Well, guys, look at the record. You cannot deny the record. And they played some pretty tough tournaments too, right? They only lost 2 games in those tournaments. So, and by the way, still has not lost a set in the Mission Valley League. So, you got to give them their flowers. I'm giving James Logan their flowers, okay? Marin Catholic, number 5, they beat Archie Williams. Redwood at 6, also beat Archie Williams, then lost to Branson. San Ramon Valley, number 7, they beat Granada and Doherty Valley. St. Ignatius, number 8, they beat Valley Christian in presentation last week. And I think they're playing St. Francis on Thursday, so that's going to be very, very interesting. Number 9, Foothill, beat Monte Vista and Cal. Okay. And number 10, they tumbled. And here's the reason why. Carondelet at number 10. They did beat Monte Vista. They lost to Amador Valley in 3 sets at Amador Valley, but still, in 3 sets.
Yeah.
That's not a good loss.
We need to start paying attention with what's happening in the East Bay League for volleyball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And very, very interesting. So you got Carondelet,
Yep.
9-1. SRV 9-1.
Yep.
Those teams are going to go at it tomorrow, and that is going to be our Crumble Cookies game of the week, and your boy will be there.
Hey.
Yes,
and then you got Foothill sitting at 8-2. And yes, Amador Valley, they did beat Carondelet. And yeah, that may have been a tough loss for Carondelet, losing in 3 sets, but Amador Valley is starting to pick it up a little bit.
Just
They're
in
still
time for the
competing.
playoffs.
They're competing.
Let's just talk about Amador Valley for a second as an athletic program. Look at what they're doing with their football program, their volleyball program. I think they have a solid water polo team, too.
Their girls' water polo team is pretty good.
Just so real quick, we don't have to stay on too long, but kudos to this entire athletic department there, putting together all the coaches across all those sports.
You got to give San Ramon Valley their flowers as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's many schools that we could. I'm just thinking about Amador Valley. We're talking about the football team, and their volleyball team is looking great. So just quick note there.
Yeah, so the standings, when you got 1 through 4 with Carondelet, SRV, Foothill, Amador Valley, this buckle up because this is going to be very interesting. And then when you look at Tuesday's matchup, Carondelet, San Ramon Valley. I mean, when you look at this from San Ramon Valley's perspective, this is a huge week for them. Because
Absolutely.
After this game at Carondelet, they have to go to Pleasanton to take on Amador Valley. This is a huge...
Carondelet?
No, San Ramon Valley.
Oh, San Ramon Valley.
This is a huge week for those Wolves. A huge week.
Yeah.
So, and when these two teams played, SRV and Carondelet, they played earlier this season. That match went to 5 sets.
Yep.
Carondelet was able to steal one on the road. This is a big, big game. And there's a lot of talent with Carondelet. I mean, they got Isabella Ehrlich, who is going to Boston College to continue her volleyball career. And then on the other side, you got Lucy Chertok. You got Sofia Velo. She's going to Montana next year.
Kate Stern also there. And Mr. Leo Lopez's daughter is also plays for Carondelet.
Yep.
So, hey, man, there's a reason why we made this the Crumble Cookies game of the week.
This is a big game, and I would not be surprised if this match goes to 5 sets again.
And you know what, guys? Volleyball playoffs is just around the corner too, man. Man, it's almost playoff season. This is insane.
Yeah. And let's move our way over to the WCAL with volleyball. So when St. Francis and Mitty played each other in Mountain View, St. Francis took that match, winning in 4 sets. And then it was the complete opposite last week with Mitty winning on its home court, winning in 4 sets. But it helps when you got Romero and Crossan back in full swing for those Monarchs.
And see, here's the key. They weren't on the court all the time. They were rotating players, and they look so good. By the way, shout out to Chase Courtney. I think she's like a freshman.
She's a freshman.
I thought she was a junior. My God, all the kills that she had.
Sky's the limit.
Oh, my God. She's a freshman?
Getting it done.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
I think Mitty's the favorite to win. I'm going to say it right now on that 2 shot. The Mitty Monarchs are the favorite to win the Open Division CCS title. I think they still have the Open Division or whatever the highest division in the CCS.
They're gonna win.
Division.
They're gonna win.
Open Division D1. The Mitty Monarchs are the favorite, and I think they're going to win.
Okay.
They look so good.
You heard it here first.
Yep.
Chase Courtney is second in our Player of the Week voting. So if you're seeing this on Monday or Tuesday before noon, go vote for our Players of the Week on our community page.
All right. Appreciate the heads up, Nikon. And it's going to be so exciting to see the NorCal D1 bracket when
my God,
that comes out. You got teams in the WCAL. You got teams in the East Bay League, the league where you just never know what's going to happen. And then the North. Redwood, Marin Catholic.
Oh my God!
Branson.
Well, you know what? Hey, I will say this. I will say this. I know people are gonna hate me for it. Do not count out James Logan. I know they're in a weak league, and they will probably be in the Open Division. I think the NCAA has an Open Division. If not, they'll be in Division 1.
Yeah, I don't think they have an open.
Girls in Union City, man, do not count them out. They are the sleeper team this postseason.
With the way they're playing right now, I would not be surprised if they're a 3 or 4 seed come playoff time.
Whoa.
James Logan.
They're
a good team, man. They're a good team, man. I don't understand all the hate. I don't get it.
I haven't got to see them much this season
They're
yet.
good.
But
They're a good team.
So let me ask you this, is because you guys know Branson. How would you compare to Branson volleyball? Now, that's 2 different programs, right? 2 different leagues entirely. But in comparison of quality of volleyball.
Branson comparing to Logan?
Yes.
Well, Branson's the better team. No, there's no question Branson's the better
Sure.
team. But, here's the thing. Branson's also in a tougher league,
Yep.
right? Logan's league,
Not so much.
no disrespect to the Mission Valley League, but it's not that good. Right? It's not
So
that
then,
good.
how much kudos can you really give James Logan, right? Because we're building up to playoffs,
Yeah.
right? They look great in their league, and that's awesome. But you want to give them all these kudos and come playoffs. What happens if they get humbled?
But look at their season overall. They went to two tournaments, one in Vegas and one in Arizona. They played very, very well in both of those tournaments, and they beat Foothill in 5 sets.
Sure.
At Foothill. That's not an easy thing to do.
It's not.
No.
But that was so early in the
I
season.
know.
though.
I know,
It was
and you know
early.
what? I don't see this team slowing down at all. They're getting better.
Yep.
Right? I'm telling you, they are a sleeper team.
I'm just curious to see how for real they are. They look it and they sound it, and that's awesome. And I'm not doubting them. Just more so questioning like, okay, how legit are they? Right?
I think they're legit. Can they stay with Branson? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Will they beat Branson? Probably not. But they will be competitive.
I'm just wondering if they're kind of like I think we talk about the North. Those Vikings, those Minnesota Vikings, they always start the season so flashy and hot and good, and then once they get to playoff time, they're fraudulent, So I just want to make
Jake's
sure.
right there. Come on, man.
Sorry, I had to take my job. But speaking of football,
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of football, Adrian updated the poll.
All right. Well, a little bit of chaos.
my
bit of
poll got
chaos.
cut off. I don't even get to see
Oh,
it, so
no.
I have to just listen.
You know what, Tyler? I will walk you through it.
Please do.
Okay. Well, De La
that's very
Salle,
nice of
number
you.
1, right? Obviously, it did not matter if they lost to NFL Academy. They will be the number 1 team no matter what. Unless San Ramon Valley beats them this Friday. We'll see what happens. Pittsburgh, number 2, defeated. Well, that's a barn burner. 49-0 over Freedom. And now they are at Heritage this week. So, yeah,
Heritage
we'll
is
see.
solid.
They're a solid team, but, Pittsburgh's going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't
So-
see that
Pitt
going
will
well.
Pitt.
No,
Yeah.
no disrespect to the Heritage Patriots, man. I love you guys. There's a Dutch Bros there, like a mile away. I love going there every time I go to Heritage.
Yeah,
so,
they also have one in Oakley. Big fan of that one too.
oh, that's good too. Ooh, I should get some.
That's also some
I
overrated
should get
coffee,
some.
but that's a conversation for another time.
Anyway, San Ramon Valley, number 3. They beat California 38-26, as
was a
we
great
mentioned
game.
earlier. St. Francis defeated Serra. They're at number 4. And they are playing our number 5 team, St. Ignatius.
There we go.
Who also had a barn burner against Bellarmine at San Jose City College. And so number 4 versus number 5.
I was waiting for that barn burner reference.
Oh, there
that
you
you're
go.
gonna throw
Oh,
in
there you go.
Come on.
There you go. Cardinal Newman is number 6.
All right.
Cardinal Newman is now in our poll. They are still undefeated. They defeated Windsor in overtime, and now they're hosting Rancho Cotati. Again, that gauntlet that is the Redwood Empire League. Man,
Cardinal Newman wasn't in your poll last week,
no.
and they skyrocket to 6 on their
They
first
are.
entry into the poll. Got it.
Yeah.
Continue. Just
Number-
had to make a note of that.
Number 7, Valley Christian, right? They defeated Riordan. I should not say destroyed because it was close in the first half. They are, oh boy, they are playing Sacred Heart Cathedral at home this week. So I have a lot of respect to those Fight Irishmen. They beat Midi.
Sure.
Wow, what happened to the Monarchs? Football. Man. Los Gatos, number 8, lost to, oh, no, not lost. They beat Menlo Atherton.
that was another
And
good
they are
game.
now at Sacred Heart Prep on Saturday. El Cerrito, still number 9. They defeated St. Mary's in Albany, 55-0, another barn burner. And they are at Salesian on Saturday. And California rounds out our poll at number 10. They lost to San Ramon Valley, but they will be playing Monte Vista this week.
Do you mind if I lead with a question for him, Jake?
Go for it.
Perfect. Why do you have El Cerrito so low?
Their league is too weak.
55. Okay, so okay, if you're gonna use that logic, then why do you put James Logan so high? Now that's 2 different sports, but
Okay,
if you're talking
yes.
about leagues and strength
Yes.
of leagues, we got to have some correlation. I'd feel like, right? And those gotchas. I mean, 55-0. I understand they're not playing good opponents, but
Okay.
that is still an admirable thing to do.
Well, Logan played
Admirable.
2 tough
I don't know
tournaments.
what word I was trying to say there.
Logan played 2 tough tournaments.
Sure, absolutely.
Right?
I just think
Oh,
at
and
least
by the-
like you're putting Los Gatos above El Cerrito. I think that might be a little bit of a hot take.
No, well, okay, that's a good point. But again, Los Gatos, who do they play Pittsburgh, man.
Sure. Los Gatos'
Pitt.
schedule's tough. Yes,
They
absolutely.
At Pitt, and they
Yep.
stayed with them for like a quarter and a half.
No, I'd give them.
Or
I'd
a
give
half?
them.
You would just say
3/4 of football.
Okay.
I'd say close to 3/4 of football. Just,
Okay.
I think, I don't think it's crazy.
Okay.
I just think it's a little bit of a reach, is all.
So a good question is, what does it take for El Cerrito to climb?
They've been stuck.
think
They've been stuck on that bottom half of the pool for a while.
Well, if Los Gatos,
that's the thing. I think they're going to stay at the bottom, but and that's the thing though, because if there are 3 teams that can fight with De La Salle, it's Pittsburgh, it's San Ramon Valley, and it's El Cerrito. And El Cerrito proved it.
Yep.
They put up a fight at El Cerrito against De La Salle. So the way I look at this poll, Adrian, I would put El Cerrito right where I'd probably put El Cerrito above Los Gatos.
Okay.
And I would put Valley Christian down the 9. Yeah. And I
Okay.
say that because Valley Christian rolled past Riordan.
right.
yeah.
Rolled past Riordan.
And it's not easy, right? I think in my eyes, I know we're supposed to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 10.
Yeah.
And really, if we didn't really have to do that, I think honestly, Valley, Los Gatos, and El Cerrito, they're pretty much all the same. You can make a point for any of those 3 teams, right? Cardinal Newman I guess, right? But they're 6-0, so there's a reason why they're number 6,
Right.
Right, and
Okay.
I get
They
it.
deserve to be in the poll. I think
They
that was the right
deserve to be in the
decision.
poll,
Absolutely.
right? They played some tough teams in the beginning, right? And I know it's overtime against Windsor, but that league is probably, honestly, it's the second toughest league in the Bay. I don't know if you really call it a Bay Area, but it's the second toughest league that we're kind of covering outside of the West Catholic League team,
Right.
and I can say that it's tougher than the East Bay League because of all the teams that they have in their league. I mean, Windsor, Cardinal Newman, Marin Catholic, Vintage, Cotati,
So-
San Marin, that's a gauntlet.
Okay, so Nika and I were out in London, and we asked some of the players from the De La Salle football team on the poll,
Yep.
and they said that El Cerrito should be ranked higher, and it got to the point where they said El Cerrito should be ranked higher than St. Francis.
See, now,
And
I don't know about
you,
that.
And if you look at the matchup, what was the score of the De La Salle St. Francis game?
It wasn't close.
It wasn't close.
Was that at De La Salle or St. Francis?
It was at De La Salle.
Okay.
But this game at El Cerrito, it was a lot closer.
And that game was at El Cerrito.
It was at El
that's the
Cerrito,
thing.
but
That's the thing.
if you're asking me, I think El Cerrito should be number 6.
Over Cardinal Newman.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I would agree
Yeah.
with that statement.
It's tough, but it's again, like I said like a couple minutes ago, you can make a case why El Cerrito should be number 6, 7, or 8. You can make a case why Los Gatos should be higher. You can make a case why Valley Christian should be higher. And also you can make a case why Cardinal Newman should be where they are now. Right? It's not easy, but
Right. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
It just comes down to the fact that, you have a hard job. You're in a position that to get questioned, grilled, and
that's okay.
criticized. So absolutely, it's not easy. We say it
I
every week.
welcome it.
So that I do want to throw that out there. We're not out here grilling you, just calling you a
no,
dummy
no.
for this. But I think now the El Cerrito thing, though, we got to put them up a little higher. Give the gachos their love.
I am giving them their look. Like
You're
I
giving
said,
them bomb the
it's
barrel
just-
love.
No, well, it's just it's very unlucky. It's very unlucky that they have a weak league. But again, this is kind of like why McClymonds last year, right?
Yeah.
Hey, McClymonds is a good team, man. But again, their league, No disrespect to the Oakland League, but
that's
it's not
all you
that
gotta
good.
say.
I know. Yeah, that's
Right,
I was
so
letting
that's
that
the reason
go.
why. Like I think last year, I think I had Mac on the poll, and like they I couldn't really put them higher because their league is so weak and they
Yeah.
dominate everyone. And this is the same case with El Cerrito, right? They're a good team. They schedule tough. Hey, they scheduled De La Salle at home, which is, by the way, this was the first season De La Salle has been
Yep.
in that area since like the late '90s, right? But their league is just weak,
Yeah.
right? Salesian is the only competition in that league. And they're probably going to, I'm going to make a prediction right now. They're probably going to kill Salesian this week. At Salesian.
And if they kill Salesian, do they move up?
If they kill Salesian, well, see, here's the problem: is it won't make it on our show because we're not airing on Saturday. But on our podcast next week, El Cerrito High School, home of the Gauchos. If you guys blow out Salesian on Saturday, I'll put you guys up. I'll put you guys higher.
Clip it.
Clip it right now.
Chat, clip
But
that,
hey,
chat,
listen,
chat.
if this is a close game, though, I think they said number 9. Now, if they blow out Salesian, I will put them up higher on the poll. But we'll see what happens with the rest of these teams.
Yeah. So here we are, week 8. Week 8.
I know. Four
Crazy.
more games, guys, and then it's playoffs.
Well, that's all the time we have for you, and I think it's safe to say you've been covered. We'll see you next time.
What a show.
All right.